today I am going to be showing you guys this fantastic 3&D build on NBA 2K23. I know the new season just started, so if you're looking for a brand new build to try out towards the end of this year, this is definitely something you should try. It is an insane build. And speaking of seasons, boys, it is summertime, and that means it is also really hot outside, which is a perfect time to start wearing some shorts again out in the sun. And speaking of shorts, you can go pick up some amazing basketball shorts at my sponsor, pristinejerseys.com. Link will be in the description beneath the like button. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you guys two versions of this build. Now, the first one is a version that I recommend that you guys make, and the second version I'm going to show at the end of this video is a version of this build that I'm going to be using with Laker Fan on his Pro-Am team. If you want to see both, make sure you watch all the way through the video, but for the vitals, obviously go with pretty much any position between point guard, shooting guard, or small forward for this build. And then when it comes to the body settings, we're going to be going with a height of 6'7", weight 180 pounds with a 6'10" wingspan and a defined body shape. All right, so now when it comes to the finishing, you're going to get a 75 close shot, a 66 driving layup, and an 82 driving dunk. Now listen, we only went with an 82 because I don't really want to get contact dunks on this build because it's just going to be too expensive with how much we're upgrading our shooting and our defense. But secondly, we ended up going with an 82 to get an extra badge point. But if you do want to drop it down to 80 and lose a badge point, you can, and you will still get very good dunks on this build. You get straight arm tomahawks, quick drops off one with silver limitless takeoff. All right, so now when it comes to the finishing, I don't really have a whole lot of finishing clips because I actually don't dunk a lot on this build, and you'll see why now. All right, so when it comes to the shooting on this build, you're going to get an 81 mid-range shot, which is going to get you midi magician on Hall of Fame. And you're also going to get a 93 three-pointer on this build, which is going to get you access to goal limitless range as well as Hall of Fame catch and shoot on this build. Now, the crazy thing when it comes to the shooting highlights on this build, I don't even have to show you guys a duration of multiple games. This is all from one game on this build where we ended up having a 50 piece. Now, I need you guys to just stick around and just take a look at all these insane shooting clips because we were hitting every single shot you can imagine on this build with high efficiency. Our catch and shoot shots, our off the dribble shots with our fades, our step backs, our spin jumpers, our front fades, and then we were also shooting from deep. We could hit shots from limitless range on this build without any issue, as you'll see in a couple of moments. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, as we were going through this game, I genuinely felt like as if I was game 6 Clay out here. I just could not miss from 3. We're also playing some really insane defense. But yeah, no, I genuinely just felt like I could hit any shot regardless of my positioning, regardless of how bad the catches were, regardless of where I was on the court. We were getting an open 3 and we were hitting that shot. Now, I want you to understand something. At the start of the 4th quarter, I only had 18 points on this build, but as you see, those points are going to pile up really quickly because we are just hitting 3 after 3 after 3 on this build. Now look at this one in transition. We're curling back out. AK is going to dot us out at the 3-point line. If that's not a Klay Thompson play right there, trying to get open off ball, I don't know what is. But right now we got the ball in our hands. We're going to hit a wide cross and shoot it from the logo, and we can hit it because we have sharp take. And now there's about 2 minutes left in the game. We have 33 points at this point. AK is going to dot us again open in the corner, and that is now 36 points. But now we have 39 points. There's about a minute and a half left in this game, and right here I'm just trying to take a bucket. This guy's jumping at me for no reason. We hit him with the front fade out of the Westbrook cross, and it's a bucket. But now the clock is winding down, and there is less than a minute left in this game. We get a wide open catch and shoot 3 right here, and we were banking off a lot of transition 3s again right here. Catching the ball near the 3-point line, we go to the left and we fade and we hit that shot. But now we're down to the final 5 seconds of the game. I have sharp take. I catch this over here in the corner, and then we're gonna fade out near the hash. It's a deep shot off the dribble, but we hit that shot and we ended up scoring 50 points on this build, shooting 17 for 20 from the field and 16 for 19 from 3. If that doesn't show you how good the shooting is on this build, I don't know what will. And speaking of shooting, I can't show you guys all of these amazing shooting clips without giving you guys the jump shot I was using, and it's actually a very simple one. Base is going to be LaMelo Ball, release 1 Kyle Korver, and release 2 Oscar Robertson. Now, when you put this jump shot in the blender, this is actually one of the very few jump shots that if you knock down the release speed all the way to the minimum, it still will have an A+ release speed down on the bottom right hand of the screen. As you can see right here, it still has an A+, which is how you know this jump shot is insanely fast. So now when it comes to the playmaking, you're going to get a couple things. First and foremost, you're going to get a 76 pass accuracy, which will get you access to the LeBron James pass style, which is the best passing style in the game, right next to none. And then you're also going to get access to an extra badge point by upgrading your pass accuracy from a 75 to a 76. Now moving on to the ball handle, you're just going to get an 80. That's going to get you silver quick first step and a couple of really good dribble animations, which include Donovan Mitchell signature size up, KD size up escape, and Russell Westbrook moving crossover, which are very nice to have on this build. And now when it comes to the speed with ball, you can kind of upgrade this however you want. You can go up to 75 to get the MJ dribble style if you want, but you're going to have to sacrifice some things. And secondly, I don't really use MJ dribble style or don't need to use MJ dribble style on this build because a lot of the moves I'm going to do are going to involve my attacking size ups with the Westbrook moving crossover, or just using my size up escape package to get me open. And I score enough off ball to where I don't think I need to have MJ dribble style. But now let's actually talk about the playmaking on this build. It's going to be just enough. It's going to be serviceable. That 75 pass accuracy is the go-to for like the mid-level area of like being a good passer. Obviously the 86 is the go-to. If you want to go even higher than that, it can't get better, but that's going to be good enough for playmaking. Now lastly, moving on to the defense, and this is a very fun part about this build. We're going to get a 95 perimeter defense on this build, which is going to get us access to gold clamps and, more importantly, Hall of Fame challenger on this build. Then we're going to get a 90 steal as well, which is going to get us silver glove as well as gold interceptor. Gold interceptor is like the perfect sweet spot for this badge. This is when you're going to start getting some really good catch animations when it comes to stealing the ball off ball. And then when it comes to our paint defense, we're going to have a 53 interior defense, which isn't a whole lot, but we're going to get that 70 block, which is going to get us access to bronze anchor, which is very important to have on this type of build. And then when it comes to the rebounding, I'm not going for rebounds a whole lot. This is a build that you're going to be running the fast break with, so I'm not going to be going for defensive rebound. I'm going to be running the break, so I don't have a need for D-board. Now the defense on this build, like I mentioned, and you could probably imagine, is pretty freaking solid on this build. Now listen, we're going to get more in-depth defensive gameplay on this build when we start uploading more Pro-Am on this build. I'm going to be running with Laker fans Pro-Am team, so obviously there's going to be gameplay coming out soon. It's going to be me, Tonic, Koza, and Laker fan on a team as well. But you know, this build is very solid on defense. That Hall of Fame challenger is going to be super clutch, especially the gold interceptor, as well as you guys have seen throughout the clip so far. And we can pickpocket a little bit. I actually don't run glove on this build. You're going to just naturally get steals with that 90 steal rating. But yeah, no, regardless of build name, this build is very simple. It is a two-way sharpshooter. You're going to be able to shoot from really deep. You're going to be able to shoot really well on this build, and you're going to be a fantastic defender. And this is a great build to play with in rec, especially with randoms, because you could space the floor and you could play really, really good defense. And look at this shot right here, man. Spin fade. Where is he going? That's an easy bucket. And now you can see the build fully maxed out right here. You're going to get 13 finishing, 26 shooting, 14 playmaking, and 19 defensive badges. If you do want to get access to silver limitless takeoff, you got to put at least another 3 into finishing so you can get 16. And then I would recommend putting at least 1 or 2 into playmaking so you can get access to clamp breaker or unpluckable on this build. And then when it comes to defense, if you have any extra badges, you can put them into there as well, because a lot of your badges are going to be tier 3 between challenger, clamps, interceptor, and glove if you choose to run it. And then when it comes to the physicals, you're going to get an 86 speed, a 76 acceleration, 45 strength, which isn't really a whole lot. You can upgrade that if you want, a 70 vertical, and a 95 stamina. But now let's talk about my version of the build really quickly that I'm actually going to be using in Pro-Am. Now listen, we took a different approach here. We wanted to be able to mash a little bit on this build if I get the proper matchups. So we ended up going with an 85 close shot, which is going to get us access to gold fast twitch, gold fearless finisher, and gold masher. So if I end up getting like a 6-1 PG on me on the perimeter and I cut and they can't swing, I'm mashing on that 6-1 and I'm getting easy buckets. We're going to end up getting a 65 driving dunk on this build, which is actually way better than you think. You're going to get a lot of decent dunk animations with that rating. Obviously, you don't get limitless takeoff dunks, but again, you're going to be so good out on the perimeter that you could probably get some easy open lanes to the basket if you end up making the build like this. And then when it comes to the physicals, we get 1 extra speed and like 4 extra excel, and that's pretty much it. And the other important thing too with how we made that build is now we can not have to worry about putting extra badge points into getting silver limitless takeoff, and we can put them all into defense. Speaking of takeovers, we're going limitless range, perimeter badge drop when it comes to our takeovers. This build is complete. You're going to come out of the My Player builder and you can get a couple of different names, okay, based off of this build. If you make it at the point guard position, you're going to get the name 3&D point. If you make it at the shooting guard position, you're going to get the name 3&D 2 guard. And if you make it at small forward, you're going to get the build name 3&D wing. So it's all going to depend on what position you ended up making the build at, but overall, you're going to be at 3&D and you're going to be amazing on this build. But that's going to be it for today's video, man. I'm out. Peace.